the position. You'll see that soon. And we'll solve a problem, but we'll see the final expression which we shall use to solve a numerical, which is related to Fick's second law of diffusion, right? And we'll see some application of diffusion, right? So from the previous lecture, if you remember, factors affecting diffusivity or diffusion: one is the temperature factor, one is crystal structure factor, one is melting point factor, right? Temperature factor, if you remember, right? If you remember the expression D, diffusion constant or diffusion coefficient is equal to A e to the power minus EA by RT or EA by KT, right? Where we have seen the diffusion constant or diffusion coefficient depend upon the temperature, right? And because we know that higher is the temperature, higher is the diffusion coefficient, and you understand higher is the temperature, higher is the diffusion rate. So if you want a faster diffusion, you can go to a higher temperature. Similarly, crystal structure, if you remember, the crystal structure, certain crystal structures are open, certain crystal structures are close packed, like CCP, cubic close pack, FCC, that is FCC, face centered cubic, right? HCP, hexagonal close pack, those are close pack structure. But BCC, body centered cubic, is an open structure, right? So if you compare an open structure, diffusion is faster or diffusivity is faster. But in a closed pack structure, diffusion is slow, right? Similarly, melting point. This is also very interesting. Different metals have different melting point. Some metals are having low melting point, some metals will be having intermediate melting point, and some metals having higher melting point, right? So higher is the melting point, diffusivity will be less. That is inversely proportional, you have to remember, right? These are the examples which I already have shown you, and you can see again. Self-diffusion is faster in alpha iron than in gamma iron. Okay, self-diffusion means iron is diffusing in its own lattice of iron atom, right? But if it is BCC, it is good, diffusion is good. If it is gamma, carbon moves faster in alpha iron than does in gamma iron. Here it is an interstitial diffusion, right? Carbon is moving in the interstitial sides. So diffusion will be faster in alpha, obviously it is an open structure, but gamma is a closed pack structure, right? Austenite. So you can see the diffusivity is higher for aluminium compared to copper than compared to iron, gamma iron, right? At a given temperature. So temperature is fixed, but if you have different elements, the element having lower melting point will diffuse fast, right? So here aluminium is having lower melting point, so diffusion cost of diffusion coefficient is fast, higher. Then you have to remember, interstitial diffusion is faster than substitutional diffusion. This is another interesting. Suppose you have carbon, you have iron, both are diffusing. So carbon will diffuse faster compared to iron in iron lattice, right? Why? The answer is probability of finding interstitial vacant site is more. That is the answer. The probability of finding an interstitial site is more compared to a substitutional site. So that's why. Anyways, if you remember how substitutional diffusion occurs, by two means: by interchange or by moving a movement of vacancies from the previous lecture, right? And the most dominant one is the movement of vacancies, basically. Okay, so diffusion increases with increasing in temperature. So the diffusivity increases with increasing temperature. Diffusion rate is higher for open crystal structure, which I already have talked about, and diffusivity decreases with increasing the melting point. These are important points you have to remember. Then I'll talk about Fick's second law of diffusion. As I told, it is a non-steady state diffusion, which exactly means it will depend upon time and it will depend upon position. So this is the expression, and this expression is a partial differential equation. Just have a look. Del C by del D is equal to D times D square C by dx square. So it simply means the change in concentration. C is the concentration, T is the time. D is the diffusion constant or diffusivity. C is the concentration, X is the distance, the position, you can say. So change in concentration with time. You can say this del C by del T is nothing but change in concentration with respect to time is equal to D, that is diffusion constant, times the second derivative of the concentration with position. Okay. So this is the expression, and you have to remember the definition like this. If you remember the expression, you can write the definition of Fick's second law, right? So del C by del T is equal to D square C by dx square. Similarly, I can say fixed second law is a non-steady state where concentration C is a function of position x and time t. So if you measure the concentration, that will be depending upon the position as well as depending upon the time of exposure. Fine. Suppose you are exposing your material for a more interval of time where atoms are diffusing into the surface, so you can get more diffusion with respect to time, right? And the distance will be also more if you kept it for more time period, right? So you can see C concentration is a function of x comma t. X is the position, t is the time. Okay, C is the concentration. Right. So according to Fick's second law, the concentration is a function of position and time. Position means, if you are getting confused, from the surface to the depth. Time means how much time you are exposing your material at a higher temperature, for example. So this is the plot. This is C0 initial concentration. This is CS surface concentration, and this is the position X. Right. So these are the curves you'll get. When this is for T0 time. When time is T1, you can see the profile is like this. And when the time is T2, the profile is like this. When time is T3, suppose higher time period, the profile is like this. So the profile is not fixed. The profile is changing. You can see. For T0, this is different profile. For T1, it is different profile. T2. So if you expose the material for different time, having initial concentration C0 and surface concentration somewhat, the profile will be like this with respect to position. You can see. This CXT means concentration at a distance, like position X with respect to time. Okay. So now this is the final expression to solve a diffusion problem. This question may be there in your examination. And during GATE examination, you might get a question from this also. So if you want to solve diffusion problem, you have to remember this formula, this expression. This is basically a solution of second law of diffusion. Del C by del T is equal to D square C by dx square. So finally get this kind of expression. Cx minus C0 by Cs minus C0 is equal to 1 minus ERF. ERF means error function of x divided by 2 root over dt. X is the position, D is the diffusion constant or diffusivity, basically diffusion constant or diffusion coefficient, T is the time period, ERF means error function. Right? So what is Cx? Cx is the concentration at a position x. C0 is the initial concentration. Cs is the surface concentration. And C0 is again initial concentration. So this is the expression you need to remember. Right? In this question, you might ask, what is the time taken? What is x? They may ask, right? Or what may be the Cx? Or what may be the CS, like this. Anyways, we'll see that. Now you can see there. What is error function? This is a kind of error. You can see. This is the table for Z values. We can have different Z values starting from 0.05 to 1 maximum, right? Similarly, we can have error function of Z value. So if Z will be given, you can easily find out error function of Z just by looking at this table. You can see Z values are given and error function of Z is also here. So this table is very important. This table will be given in the examination. Now the problem is what? Suppose you are having a Z value in between these two values. Then how to find out error function of Z? So this is the formula you remember, right? Suppose example is given. Z is 0.07. You need to find out error function of 0.07. So what need to be done? So you have to check the table. Obviously, you can see the table. Table is already given. That means this table is reduced to this one, right? You can check Z is 0.07. So where 0.07 lies? You can see 0.07 lies here in between 0.1 and 0.05. Okay, this position. So if Z is in this position, so you have to find out corresponding ERF Z. error function of z. So that will be in between this position, right? So how to find it out? You need to remember this formula. Similarly, z minus z0 divided by z1 minus z0 times error function of z1 minus error function of z0 plus error function of z0. So this is the formula. What is z and z1? Z is 0.05, z1 is 0.1. Okay, 0. Not 0.5. This is okay. Sorry. Z is 0.07, which is given already. Z, right? I'm getting confused. Here Z0 and Z1 is different. Z0 is this one, 0.05, and Z1 is the next number, 0.1. Okay. So Z is already given 0.07. You can use this formula 0.07 minus 0.05 because Z0 is this one, 0.05. Similarly, 0.1, which is this one, Z1 minus Z0 is 0.05. And you keep on putting all these equations and you'll finally get the answer 0.07884. So error function of Z is equal to 0.08. If, okay, fine, this is the answer for if Z is 0.07, then error function of Z is 0.07884, right? Similarly, if I'll take another example where I have given error function of Z this much, what is Z? So this is another formula. You can use it. Okay. So you can find, you have to find out this value 0.08 is in which place. So obviously this will be in this place between 0.05 and 0.08, right? So you have to use this formula, error function of Z minus error function of Z0 divided by error function of Z1 minus error function of Z0 in times Z1 minus Z0 plus Z0. You can substitute the numbers here and you can finally get the answer Z is equal to 0.071. Okay. So now there is a problem, numerical. The question is what? Nitrogen from a gaseous phase is to be diffused into pure iron. So what you have a pure iron. You just imagine you have a pure piece of iron, right? Which is in a atmosphere having nitrogen around it, right? And temperature is given 675 degrees centigrade. So if the surface concentration is maintained at 0.2 weight%, if the surface concentration is maintained at 0.2 weight%, nitrogen, what will be the concentration 2 mm from the surface after 25 hours? So time period is given. That means your pure iron is exposed to nitrogen atmosphere for 25 hours. Long time period. So what will happen? Obviously, nitrogen will diffuse into the surface of pure iron, right? It is given surface concentration. That means surface coefficient is given, which is D, that is 1.9 is this, right? So capital D is given. And what else is given? Temperature. So second is here. So you have to convert 24 25 hours to seconds first. Then meter is given. So this initial concentration means it is 0 for pure iron because pure iron do not contain any nitrogen, right? So initial concentration C0 is 0. What is CS? CS is the surface concentration, which is given 0.2. It is written, right? Then X is the position or depth, which is this much meters. 2 mm will be this 0.002 meters, right? As I told, time 25 hours will be converted into seconds, like this. Okay. Now you have to use the formula. Cx minus C0 divided by Cs minus C0 is equal to 1 minus error function of X divided by 2 root dt, right? So you have to substitute all this into this particular expression, right? If you substitute all this, you'll end up with this much. So first step is to find out this one, error function. So error function of 0.765. If you calculate this, you'll get error function of 0.765. Fine. So Z is 0.765. Right. So error function.
Hello, excuse me, sir. Voice clear,
So now
Aswini,
you
sir.
can substitute this. Sorry.
Sir, voice kotuchi, sir.
Am I audible right now? Okay. So from where I will start?
Yes, sir.
From okay, you understood the numerical?
Sir, problem ta
You
avtare
people
ଟିକେ
have understood the
ନା
numerical?
sir, ଆଉ ଟିକେ problem.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. You understood the question first? Or shall I repeat the question? What is the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you understood the question, right? You have a pure iron. That pure iron is exposed to a nitrogen containing atmosphere. So what will happen? Nitrogen will diffuse into the surface of the pure iron, and it will diffuse to a particular depth also, right? So question is, after 25 hours, what will be the concentration at 2 mm from the surface, right? So everything is given. Diffusion constant is given. C0 is given. C0 is 0 because it is pure iron. There is no nitrogen initial concentration. Cs is the surface concentration, which is already given, 0.2. X is already given, which is in mm, but you have to convert it into meter because diffusion constant is in meter, right? And time period is 25 hours. So 25 hours will be need to convert into seconds, right? And you can use this expression Cx minus C0 by Cs minus C0 is equal to 1 minus error function of x by 2 root dt, right? So already everything is given. Cx you need to find out actually. So C0 is given 0, Cs is given, and T is given, right? So finally, the first point is you have to find out error function of this much, 0.765. You'll end up with this much, fine? So error function of 0.765 will be 0.7224. You understood how to get it. You know this formula as I told earlier, right? Then you have to put Cx minus 0 by 0.2 minus 0 is equal to this much. And finally, you'll end up with this much weight percentage. So that means after 25 hours of exposure of pure iron to nitrogen atmosphere, you'll end up with this much weight percentage of nitrogen at a depth of 2 mm. How much? 2 mm, right? At a depth of 2 mm, you will get this much of nitrogen, 0.0559. So this kind of numerical you will get in the examination, maybe same numerical. So you have to remember this formula. This formula, how to find out error function of z, you have to remember. And you have to remember this particular expression, Cx minus C0 by Cs minus C0 is equal to 1 minus error function of x by 2 root dt. Okay. And you can see in this formula, the concentration depends upon time and also position. Okay. So now final part is the I'll not discuss today. Final part is the application of diffusion. Diffusion have lot of application. Basically in phase transformation, if you remember, certain kind of phase transformation are completely diffusion based. Where diffusion occurs. If you remember, one example I given you is the pearlitic transformation or ferritic transformation. When austenite become ferrite or when austenite want to transform into pearlite, their complete diffusion happens. All the atoms will diffuse. Iron atoms will diffuse, carbon atom will diffuse. If alloying elements are there, they will also diffuse. All atoms will take part in diffusion process and phase transformation will be possible, right? Because initially all things are in a single phase, austenite phase. All the alloying element, all the iron, all the carbon are in single phase, that is austenite. And it want to transform into ferrite plus cementite, which is pearlite, for example. So they need to partition. Some iron will be there in ferrite, some carbon will go into the ferrite, some alloying element will go into the ferrite. Similarly, some alloying element will go to the cementite, some alloying element, some iron will remain in cementite, some carbon will remain in cementite. So if this will happen, you have to undergo diffusion. So diffusion will happen, then this kind of transformation will possible. And if you remember, Palladic transformation is a high temperature transformation, right? In the TTT diagram, you remember, or from the CCT diagram, right? So you need higher temperature. Higher temperature means diffusion rate is faster. So Palladic transformation will be possible over there, right? Similarly, ferritic transformation happens at higher temperature. Okay. So other significance of transformation is by making semiconductor materials, right? If you remember, we have two kinds of semiconductor materials. One is pure semiconductor, like silicon, germanium. They are pure semiconductor. They are called intrinsic semiconductors, right? They are not. They are free from impurities, right? But there are certain kind of semiconductor which are extrinsic. Extrinsic means they are doped by certain elements, dopants like arsenic, maybe some other elements, bismuth. So dopant means how you will add this kind of dopant into this pure semiconductor, such as silicon and germanium, by diffusion only. You keep the pure silicon wafer in an atmosphere of arsenic or bismuth or some other elements. It will diffuse into the surface and it will go into the depth also with respect to time, right? So that is again, if you want to make extrinsic semiconductor, you need to do diffusion. You have to put the pure semiconductor in an atmosphere of these elements at a higher temperature, for example, right? So you understand, extrinsic semiconductor is good because the conductivity is affected by the dopants. It will increase because you can increase the number of holes or you can increase the number of electrons, right? Because in semiconductor, the movement of holes or movement of electrons is responsible for the electricity or transfer of charge. Okay. They are p-type, n-type, you know that, right? P-type means holes are the main charge carrier and n-type means electrons are the major charge carrier in that condition. So which kind of dopant you are going to use, that will make the semiconductor p-type or n-type. Okay, depends upon the valency actually. So different elements have different valency. Depending upon the valency, it has to be decided which semiconductor you want to make, p-type or n-type. P-type and n-type are the extrinsic semiconductor where we are using dopants. This dopant will be introduced into the pure semiconductor by diffusion mechanism. So this is one of another application of diffusion. Similarly, there is an application where nuclear waste, we cannot dispose nuclear waste like that anywhere, right? If we dispose that, what will happen? The radiations will be there and then it will create environmental pollutions and it will create many harmful effects on the human beings as well as on the animals. You might get cancer or you might get leukemia, like that. Fine. So what happens basically, there is a technique where these nuclear waste are introduced into the glass, right? Amorphous material. So if this nuclear waste are introduced into the glass have a poor diffusion coefficient, or diffusivity is very low in glass. So what will happen? This radioactive materials will not come out easily out of this glass if they are inside the glass. That the diffusion rate is very slow, you can understand, and they will decay with time, right? So this is one of the solution to dispose your nuclear waste by introducing this waste into the glass. The glass will reduce the diffusion rate. And you can dump it in the concrete, right? Similarly, we have a lot of application on diffusion. This example, if you want to do nitriding, if you want to do carburizing of the gears, right? If you want to make the gears, which is used in the automobiles, right? To make the gears surface very hard and wear resistance, right? You can do carburizing, nitriding, carbonitriding. So those things will be done by diffusion only, right? You have to expose your gear, steel gear, in an atmosphere of nitrogen to make it nitride, or to expose in the carbonaceous atmosphere to make it carbides. So surface will become hard, but the core will remain soft and ductile, right? In this way. Suppose somebody will ask, why will do this? Why will not add more carbon into the steel and make the surface hard? But if you do that, what will happen? The surface will become hard, as well as your core part will become hard and brittle. But we don't want that. We want our surface need to be harder and stronger, so that it has high wear resistance and high hardness, so that it will get protected from the it will get protected basically from So carburizing, nitriding, they all basically they all use the diffusion mechanism. Okay, so I will end this particular topic here. You people can leave.